This is one of the most important moments in our life. There is a change happening when Saturn leaves Pisces and enters into the world point of Aries with touching Neptune. That is a thousands of thousand years event. And in this moment of Saturn's last breath is a moment to surrender something that you denied to surrender to, or that you didn't want to give up. And this is the moment in time where you can choose to do it, even if you didn't for the last years. It is this moment in time where you can choose again. And the moment to act is a different one. This is not an action. This is a state of being. And I would love to do a reading today on what we leave behind. And I would say that this one, what do we leave behind? What is the lesson learned that we had? And what is it that we are looking for and at in the next, I think these are, in the next phase of our journey? And let's take one of these for what we leave behind. And what we will embrace. I think there were two. We'll see. And of course, entering the fire horse on the 17th, we have to have the horses. So what do we leave behind? Lessons learned. And what do we embrace in the next part of our journey? I think that we take a look first and that we see what we have here. What do we leave behind? We have the clover, we have mice, and we have the house. And this is like we leave behind the things that were connected to lack or to things we didn't have. When you believe you never had luck or something like this, there is a story underneath all of this that you don't have luck, that you miss something, to be in stability. And that is what we leave behind. This is how the theme we dealt with for the last years. Saturn was almost 3 years in Pisces. It was from the beginning of 2023 up to now, to tomorrow, when he leaves Pisces. So we had the themes of lacking, not being lucky enough to be in a stable surrounding, to have stable home, even to have property or something. But in the first place, is it a theme about lack and stability and the story that comes with that? And what we leave behind is the mountain. It's the mountain that is hindering us. That is the pathway that leads up to this place where this person is standing, to have this work to do. And what do we leave behind in this moment? We leave behind that there are obstacles. And that's really interesting, because I don't believe that life is ever about not being with obstacles. But we leave behind these obstacles, these feelings of lack, this feeling of not belonging even, because we have the house and the mouse, so it's not belonging somewhere. And this is what we leave behind. And then we have bonfire. And what do we leave behind with this is burning ourselves. And the lightning horse. And this is like we leave behind the unmanifested possibility. This card is about the glimpse into the next level, and this lack and this idea of not having enough, not belonging, is something that is the longing for manifesting our possibilities. And the bonfire is the sudden shift, the clearing and releasing, and it's fuel for transformation. What do we leave behind? That we stepped into burning ourselves with these ideas of transformation that didn't manifest. And it is in the combination of the lack and not belonging. This feels like standing in our own fire and burning ourselves for not doing the right things, for not getting it, I would say. There is something like guilt and shame that we can leave behind, that are standing in our way to get to the place where we really want to be and into the possibilities that we really want to experience. And this is the moment to let that go. That's really beautiful. And is there something that we can know in this moment that is helping us on the way to let this path of and this lack go? Yeah. There is the tears and crying those tears and the guardian that is helping us on our way to get into the next phase of our life. And there is always meditation. Yeah. That is crying the tears that you didn't cry, that you avoided to cry. The pain we avoided to feel. And let us take a look into the next phase. I think this message was pretty clear. what we leave behind and the lessons we learned, And what we are looking at when we are looking into the next phase of our life is loyalty and the change that is coming in our relationships. This can mean there is a new relationship coming, but it can always mean that your relationships are changing for the better, for stepping into the loyalty and stepping into something that you can decide what you really, really want in relationships. And what we are looking at in this transformation is, and I have two cards here. Yes. We have the vision and we have the maiden. And that is what we really want to experience in our relationships, how we want to connect to other people, how we allow ourselves to be committed in relationships. This is changing. And as these cards are drawn like this, it feels like there is something you never belonged somewhere. You didn't belong into maybe even the relationships you were in. But that is changing because there is something about this lesson that you learned. And it's about you and your tears, your grieving process to let go of different things and to stop burning yourself for being guilty for not feeling connected. There is something really deep happening right now that is releasing us from this pain of guilt and shame. That we are always responsible for not belonging, and that we burned ourselves by avoiding the pain that needs to be felt with these wounds that were created long, long time ago. And we have the messenger. And we have illumination. And that is really beautiful, because with the maiden it's something innocent. It's something innocent showing up, and it's the envisioning what we really want to experience in our life and creating this from a vision that we have in our hearts. And the messenger seems to be a hint to that we have to create something for guidance and for protection. And it can be something that you have a call and a vision for the greater good of all, to create something really special and to step into this role and purpose of being a messenger for this higher purpose, for this vision and for this future idea that you have. And to step into this is something that is like a new beginning for you, that gets you back into the innocence that you came here with. It's like a childlike innocence. It's not gullible or something. It's like it's childlike innocence that is showing up. And with this illumination, it is like having the lessons learned. You know, we learned the lessons, and we stepped into this perspective of a higher perspective, of more wisdom. And it is because we experienced all of these things. And it's this moment of expanded awareness that guides us into the next phase of our life. And this is really beautiful. I didn't expect this to come up in this way, but it's really lovely, because it's Saturn heading into Aries is like being reborn again and acting on it. And maybe even, we say that a conjunction with Neptune can be deception. Of course, can it be? But it can be acting on fantasy. It can be acting and being persistent of creating something of higher love in our life. It can be something about that as well. Can guide us into the next era where we do something different than we did until now. So I would prefer this view, this higher view, than to lead us into something destructive. That's not what it seems like. It leads us into something new, and it is about relationships. It's about connection, right? We have these hands here with holding on to things and creating something new with our hands. And that is the invitation here to step into the new belonging, being loyal to yourself in relationships. And there we have the corridor into our new world, right? And we have two portals, so to speak, into a new world. And this indignation card, as it appears from from above. It's the only card that is in this red, and it's almost in the middle of the deck, right? It's in the middle of the table. It is like the indignation that comes with stepping into our own vision and being done with people and things that are done to us that are not in our ethics, that are not okay. And it feels like that this is a tendency that is global, because it is so central. And in this corridor, this is the moment for change. The corridor is on the stalks, and the stalks are change. And the stalks they are arriving in spring. And the window is something we can this is a window where there are strings attached, you know. It is a window that isn't open, but the corridor is. So it is the invitation for me. This is the invitation not just to look at things, not just to take a look outside of the window and then to blame other people for this. It is like taking the step into this future, opening up the door at the end of this corridor, because that is the moment where we step into our vision and into our future. And Saturn in Pisces allowed us to see what is not working. It allowed us to see what we can hold. It allowed us to see where we are helpless, where we feel helpless, and where we are resilient, where we can move beyond our helplessness. And that is this moment when it changes into Aries, and Aries is red, right? It is like standing up for ourselves, standing up for our values, and stepping into the next phase where we walk through this corridor. And there is no conflict in this. There is no fighting for something. This is like going and standing up for yourself, walking through this corridor with being guided by your own vision, and invited to create something really, really new that is held by the value of loyalty, that is held by the value of change and relationship, committing to something, and being the messenger and having the higher perspective about what happened in the past years. That's a beautiful outlook, and it's a beautiful look back into what we learned, because I think everybody can relate to this, that we learned how to be resilient, how to feel the feelings that we have to feel, and we took different roads into this area where we had to feel, and we couldn't avoid it anymore. We had to take responsibility for our own emotions. Let us take a sneak peek into this next phase of our life where we can see where this is leading. I would love to know a little bit more about this. And where this next phase and the next years that we have Saturn in Aries, and they move together, you know, they moved together for the last months, Neptune and Saturn. So we have the Seven of Pentacles, where we can make a choice. We have the Empress as embodiment. Wow, that's really beautiful. We can embody our values, and we have, this is Seven of Pentacles is about the choices that the things that are offered to us. There are opportunities that we have to choose from. And the Two of Pentacles is choosing. And the Two of Cups, we have relationships, and we have two twos again, right? We have the relationship theme so big to choose new relationships. The Two of Cups, who is connected to you, and to let go of the Five of Wands. I want to let it here. And it's like being in competition. It's deciding to be something else and to embrace the part of us that is feeling. And we have the next two. Wow. And, you know, it's not being swept away, and that is what we see with the moon, not being swept away by our deeper emotions, and not being held in our fantasy. That would be the envisioning and fantasizing about the future. I think this is really a clear path where we have to decide what to do next, to step into this place of relationship and commitment, and not fall for the fantasy and the things that can deceive us. This is for me a deception path, where we choose to follow the fantasy because it feels like something that we really want to have. It's like a desire, right? And there we have a no. And not to fall for this, reminding us that we are born somewhere, that we are more than just these little tiny humans, that we have something that is bigger, and that is a soul that is born somewhere. You know, when we look at the stars, and that is often what I think when I'm standing outside and looking at the stars at night, it feels like that when we look at the stars, we know somehow how to travel to them. And I don't know what that means, but I think that is connected to the star seed. To not be deceived. Do not take your decisions from this place of fantasy. Take your decisions from this place of inner knowing and of embodiment, of being real with the things that are offered to you, being real with the things that are in connection with you, and stopping to compete. And the star seed and the shadow self, it's beautiful, because that is what we had to face in the time when Saturn was in Pisces. We had to face all of these deceptions and all of these fantasies that brought up our shadow self and our really inner deeper knowing. And to move beyond this and not to wrestle with it anymore is a beautiful outlook into the next years to come, because we learned this lesson, and we just have to remind ourselves that this is not the path. The deception and the shadow self, falling for our desires, falling for competition, isn't our path. Our path is connection. Our path is embodiment. She is pregnant. It's the feminine way to embody the wisdom that we came here with. And to make decisions from this place of your values, of the things that really, really matter to you, and from the place of love with the Two of Cups. This is what the new future and the new Saturn in Aries is about. It's opening up to this place where we can make those decisions. But we have to make those decisions, because we will be tempted. And that is what what Saturn and Aries comes with as well, with temptation. And our final card is the sacred fire. It is that is so beautiful, because with the entrance of the fire horse comes the sacred fire. And the fire that burns away everything that is not working anymore for us. It's burning away all the things that are not true. And it's allowing you to step into your truth and to not be burned by it, because you are able to look at your shadow. You are able to face the things that you learned. You can see. If you can sit down for a moment and write down, what is your lesson learned? What is it that you would thank Saturn for being in your life in this way? Might be a hard way, but for being in your life from 23 to today. So what is your lesson learned? What is your next higher path that you want to step into? And I think it's a perfect picture for what we left behind and what we are embracing now. And I think I leave it there, because the next thing that we have to do is a work that every single one of us has to do, to take a look back at the last 3 years. What were the lessons learned? What do you want to change? What is your vision for the future? And what did Saturn teach you? And where are you more resilient than you were in 23 when he entered Pisces? I think I'll leave it there. And I thank you for listening to me, and thank you for being here. And I wish you an amazing start into the next phase of Saturn in Aries. I see you soon.